What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Dribble. Back with my co-host Aashrith. We're recording another episode after the Thunder even the series against the Pacers in the NBA Finals 1-1 after a pretty dominant performance. We're gonna touch a little about Shea's historic playoff run going into the finals and also what he's been doing in the finals. How Halliburton has been playing well, and also some other key players that kind of led to the Thunder's bounce back victory. So, Ashrith, you can get us started.
Yeah, so I mean, Shea's had probably one of the best playoff runs I've seen in my life. I mean, it started off kind of slow against the Grizzlies. I think he had 15 game one, maybe 51, so who cares? And then he
Mhm.
had 28 game two, but both on pretty low efficiency. But ever since then, he's really only had two games where he struggled. Game threes against Denver and Minnesota.
Mhm.
But man, like the most 30.5 assist games in the playoff ever in a league that's seen LeBron James play is like kind of absurd. But yesterday is kind of like it kind of typified the playoff run for Shea. Like game one, he has 38, but he only has three assists.
Mhm.
And you can see that he wasn't able to get his teammates going. That could also be because teammates didn't make enough shots, but he made a concerted effort game two to get the ball moving. You could
Yeah.
see like whenever he got doubled on the low post, whenever the floor shifted towards him, he's able to make quick reads, had wide open threes for Wiggins and Caruso on the opposite side. He had Hartenstein wide open for some like low like push shots. He had Chet open on a bunch of lobs. Like all in all, just he could have had 15 assists yesterday if like more shots went down. He
Yep.
was incredible. And I guess like that's like when he's playmaking at that level, it's gonna be like quite hard to beat us over 7 games.
Yeah. I think he kind of played like the perfect like brand of basketball. Like he when he was kind of getting doubled, he brought it back, was getting his teammates involved. He was also being aggressive when he wanted to be aggressive, getting to his mid-range jumper, which he pretty efficiently makes at a pretty high rate. I think, yeah, he did what he had to do. I mean, he also had a really, really good game one too as well. So it's not like he didn't play well game one, and that's like the reason they lost. I just think that the Pacers just had one of their miraculous comebacks. But for me, moving on to the Pacers side of the ball, Halliburton's like stats, yeah, 17 points. I mean, a lot of them were like kind of stat padding at the end of the game, kind of, but. I I kind of expected this to kind of happen because you guys did it against Ant. If you're doing that, you said like because Halliburton's not as ball dominant, it would be harder to kind of keep him in check. But I kind of countered with the fact that his dribble is really loose. It's pretty easy to kind of like contain him after he dribbles one or two times because he doesn't attack the basket like that. And in my opinion, like you can kind of see it, like he's not really putting pressure on the rim. That's like not his game. And then once you take away his perimeter game, especially his like passing ability, and just force him into turnovers, and I mean, he's really not like as useful as you really think.
I agree. I think my pushback was I don't think we can guard him the same way. Like
Yeah.
Ant is so ball dominant that it's very like it's not easy because like he's one of the best players in the world, but it's very like you know what he's gonna want to do. He's not looking to pass, he's looking to score. With the
Mhm.
player that's looking to pass, I guess it's harder to have the same impact when you're just like man marking him. But
Yep.
I also think that Tyrese is just a substantially worse player
Yeah.
than Anthony Edwards.
Mhm.
So like less, with all due respect to him, of course, less effort is required to like contain him. Like he like Pacers fans. There's a dude on the Jeff Teague podcast, like a diehard Pacers fan. He's like, OKC played phenomenal defense today on Halliburton, which is why he couldn't get going. I'll be like completely honest. Like I don't think we did anything different between like games one and two on Halliburton. Like I just think like when he's not aggressive and when he turns into like this pass first player, I think the biggest myth about Tyrese Halliburton is that he can impact games when he's not scoring. Like that guy is terrible when he's not shooting the ball. Like if he's a pass first player and we're able to just like sit back and watch him try to make reads, he had 5 points and 5 turnovers through 3 quarters.
Mhm.
Like it's not like Dort was man marking him with the same effort that he's man marking Anthony Edwards with. It was not even close. Like it's just we have players that are able to jump passes and make reads. He had a bunch of terrible looks. He doesn't have that good of a handle, but like he's an incredibly clutch player. So like
Yeah.
obviously like I'm not gonna disrespect him too much, but I think people tend to overcompensate. Like he obviously wasn't the most overrated player in the league, but I think now people have turned him into like this like supremely underrated like player. Like I think he's like very properly rated as like a top 15 player.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
no higher.
Yeah,
We can't be putting him into superstar talks. It's low-key diabolical.
yeah. And like going apart from him, I think a player that I expected to be a lot better was Siakam. I think even like game one, Siakam wasn't like incredibly amazing. Last game, he looked really. I mean, when I watched him play, he looked like he was tired, kind of. He also looked like out of sorts, was turning the ball over a lot, wasn't really engaged defensively, kind of leaving his man open. Even on the offensive end, he wasn't getting to his spots as easily as I thought he would. I mean, if they have a chance, even like have a chance of winning next game, they need a lot more from him. If like Halliburton's going to be kept in check consistently like this, you can't expect like Miles Turner and Andrew Nemhard to keep like continuously bringing you back in the game when you're playing in NBA Finals. Like your stars kind of have to step up. So I think Chet so far after last night's performance is winning that matchup, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think the coolest part about this series has been like the others, right? For both teams, because like I think we're the most prevalent media platform that's hating on Miles Turner like ever, because I mean the only one. But like we've talked a lot about like how poorly Miles Turner actually played versus like the reputation he gets on the defensive end. But this series he's been so good defensively. Like he he's I think he leads the playoffs in block shots too. So maybe we're just haters. But I think like he's really impressed me. He kind of kept him in the game in the second quarter. I know they were down by 20, but you know the Pacers 20-point leads or nothing. But
Yep.
he was he kept him in the game. He had a couple nice threes that like mid range bank shot he has. I don't know he had that in his bag,
Yeah.
but like he had that going, especially with Siakam and Halliburton. If Wiggins and Caruso are combining for more points than Siakam and Halliburton, then I think they realistically have no shot.
Mhm.
And that's I guess that's the cool part about the Thunder and why it's so hard to game plan for us. Like the 55th pick in like the 2022 draft can have a 20-point finals game. Like that's pretty cool.
I agree with that. Like, it just shows, like, I mean, you guys played. Actually, you played one, two, three, four, five, six, seven,
He
eight,
played 15 guys yesterday, but I don't know, like 13 guys yesterday, but like realistically like nine.
nine. Yeah, nine guys that played like actual meaningful minutes, and like out of all those nine guys, like majority of them can go out there and like drop 20 if they had the ball in their hands continuously. So it just shows like depth in the playoffs really does matter. And in my opinion, I think the biggest difference was we touched on it a little bit, but was Chet. I think Chet was a lot more
Yeah,
aggressive from the start. Defensively too, he was a little bit more engaged in the paint, altering a little bit more shots. That double big lineup actually kind of did work a lot, especially not a lot, but it helped with the
the
putting
rebounding.
pressure on the defensive rebounding, because I think that was something that allowed you guys to kind of push the pace a little bit after getting the ball, and then also setting up your half court offense. So I think you guys can continue to do that, but I think if it's a luxury to have like two like number two options kind of in like Chet and J-Dub. Like if one of them isn't playing well, like the other one is usually playing well. That's kind of how it happened in like the Minnesota series. Like if J-Dub wasn't having a good game, Chet would step up and he'd give you like 20 and 10. If Chet wasn't having a good game, J-Dub would be the one that was kind of giving you like that 20-25 next to Shea. So it's kind of like a luxury to have some like two people like that can kind of step up continuously.
Yeah, I think there's a couple points in the game which won us the game, but I don't know if you remember. End of the first quarter, it was like it was 2017 Indiana, and Chet scores 7 of a 9-point run to put it 26-20 us. That was huge. And then we went up 23. The Pacers cut it down to 13. I was texting you at this point. I'm like, bro, like you can't get away from this team. But then Caruso and Wiggins hit a couple threes each to push it back up to 18. It's just like the difference, I guess, between this game and last game is that when they went on those pushes, because they're gonna go on runs. They're just a team that goes on runs. We had answers, and like I shouldn't go this long without talking about like Shea's shooting. Like the every time they cleared to like 15, a nice low mid range jump shot to put it back to 17, or one more to put it back up to 19, or like an N1 whenever McConnell made that three, which he's like apparently he's a good shooter now.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Obi Toppin not making 5 threes again was also immense.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah. So before we do end, what is your predictions for game three?
Well, I mean, I guess before that, I was shocked that the Bucks have us favored by 5.5.
Yeah,
It's a bit interesting. But I mean, I think that it's tough because we haven't won a game three besides Memphis, and we were down by 29 in that game. So we don't tend to come out well on the road. But uh, Shea seems to be urgent. The Pacers defense hasn't really bothered him at all. He's averaging 37.5 points against them for the season. J-Dub and Chet seem to have found their range. If Wiggins and Caruso play this well, I think we can get this one, but it's going to be a close game for sure.
yeah. I think it's gonna be a lot closer of a game than it was. I said this last episode. If there is a chance for the Pacers to kind of like make it a series and maybe like make you guys think a little bit, this is a game that they can kind of go out there and win. But again, I have a feeling that you guys kind of understand what needs to be done. Chet and Jada know their roles in the series now, kind of know that they have to be a little bit more aggressive than they would have to, what they have to do. So I feel like you guys come out with a little bit more urgency than you have in like the last two game threes from the last two previous series.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's gonna start with J-Dub, I think. Like,
Yeah.
however he gets going, because I think Chet finds a lot of pockets to make impacts when he doesn't have the ball. Kind of like Siakam does, honestly. Like he doesn't. There's no really set plays for Chet. It's like things off offensive rebounds, like quick catch and shoots, quick catch and dribbles. But if J-Dub can get those like quick, like 8 to 10 points in the first 2 quarters, then he sees the ball go in a couple of times, then it's gonna open up a lot for Shea, open up a lot for Caruso, Wallace, Hardenstein, etc.
Yeah. Before we do
Seven
end,
point win.
in your opinion, do you think there's like anything like the Pacers can do or Tyrese can do to kind of like get more open or get more in the flow of the game?
Play how we did in the fourth quarter. I mean, I guess we weren't really playing too much. Like we weren't really playing too hard in the
Like,
fourth quarter.
that goes down at that point in the game as well. So
Yeah, but he needs to be aggressive. I was telling my friends this yesterday. Like, I don't. I think, and I mentioned this the first start the podcast, but Tyrese, like, for him to be effective as a passer, he has to be effective as a scorer. Like,
mhm.
if you're only guarding like one threat with him, then he's so like respectfully so easy to guard because you're just playing the passing lanes. But if he has a 3 point shot going, or if he can get that little mid range shot going, like we have to suddenly guard him instead of just guarding everyone else. Then
Yeah.
like all the lanes open up, and he's a great vision. Obviously, he's gonna be able to find these people. So um, if he can get aggressive and he can find passing lanes to get people open, I don't like. Obviously, they're gonna have a great chance to beat us. They're just a really really high scoring offense, but
I
I
also
have
think
yet to see Tyrese be aggressive in the first half.
like when you play a defense like you guys, where you're like so handsy on the ball, or like you kind of take away the perimeter so quickly. Like once you pick a direction when you're like driving to the basket, like you have to stick to that direction. Like you got to make your decision as soon as you catch the ball, because like I kind of saw it when Ant was playing too. Like you can't go ladder, you can't move like laterally when you're dribbling against like good perimeter defenders. Like you can't like when you dribble, when Tyrese was dribbling most of the time, he's moving like left to right. Like that's not doing anything. That allows the defender to kind of like attack the ball more. Like you gotta put more pressure on the rim, kind of like what you were saying. So if he can do that continuously, like I mean when Ant tried to do it, and I think it was like game three, when he tried to get to the rim continuously, it worked for him. Like we didn't win the game, but like it worked a little bit more for. Actually, no, I think that was the one game that we did win. Actually, so like it worked for him and it worked for the team as well, because it gives his team a lot more open shots in the corner. So I mean, Tyrese doesn't have the athleticism Ant does to kind of put as much pressure on the rim, but like you said, like he has that little floater that he can get to, that if he starts making a couple of them in the beginning of the game, it's going to collapse the defense a little bit more. So yeah, I agree with you. Get yourself some buckets first to kind of collapse that defense, and then maybe get your find that like balance of like being a passer and a scorer at the same time.
Yeah, and Siakam's got to get going too. Like
Yeah,
3 for 10 at one point. It's just not acceptable, I guess, for his stature in the finals. Larry Bird Trophy winner. He can't be doing all that. And
yeah,
I mean, if your best player of the series has objectively been like Miles Turner, like that cannot
I can.
run.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
No, quick episode today, man.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for our episode today. We'll probably again do another episode after the next game is over. We'll see what happens during game 3. But yeah, keep sticking with us. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We're gonna upload some TikTok clips as well, probably today and tomorrow. And you can find us at Off the Dribble. And yeah, we will see you guys next episode. Peace.
Peace.